Hey guys, Wayne Sutton. Thanks again for jumping on board the Wealthy Coach and howtosellyourcoaching.com. Today, I'm going to tell you, take notes. Take notes. You're going to love what you're going to hear. And I don't mind telling you, Yashka, I'm learning also. So guys, when I say take notes, look, pen or iPen, iPad, whatever, I'm taking notes because launching a challenge, I remember a few years ago, one of the first challenges I got involved with, and the excitement and the energy, and then I got in another challenge, and that one wasn't that exciting. I actually got bored and quit. Then the next one, I jumped on board, and so I love a challenge when done the right way, and I know it can bring so much. Not only energy, but also profit and potential and money to a coach. So I'm excited to have with us today, Yashka, and you. I know you're going to bring us. You just fill our hearts with all you want to share. We appreciate it, and I know when we talk about how to launch your challenge, it is exactly that, launching a challenge that works. And you're in Germany, so I'm here in the United States. So it's great to be able to just connect with leaders and influencers all over the world. So thank you for being on the show here at The Wealthy Coach.
Thanks a lot for having me. It's really a pleasure. It's really a blast. And I just love to chat about challenges. So hit me with anything you've got, and I will gladly share with you everything you need in order to launch a very profitable challenge.
Well, I'm going to start with number one is why a challenge when there's, and I mean, I'm really curious because we teach different methods in the Wealthy Coach program. We're Wealthy Coach 2.0. We're going through almost every way you can find a client except challenges. I'm going to be honest with you. But we're talking about webinars and Zoom calls and face-to-face and networking events. But I know launching a challenge is something that so many people do. Why challenges, in your opinion?
I think a challenge is a great addition to everything you do. So just to clear a huge misconception a lot of people have about challenges. A challenge is not a cure at all. A challenge is there when you know who you are, when you know who you're talking to, when you know what you're selling, and you just want to have, let's say, either another way to monetize the audience you have that has not responded to yet so far, or when you need something that can really, let's say, kickstart your lead generation so that you're really attracting people like flies, because challenges are really wired in our human brains. Everybody loves a challenge. If it's business-wise or privately or anything like that. So we all love to challenge ourselves. We love to grow and get together and become part of a community. And this is what makes challenges so exciting and attractive for a lot of people, because you're not doing it alone. You have a very clear singular goal. And you know when you sign up for this that you're part of a group, that you have accountability, that you have people who you can share your thoughts with and your struggles and anything like that. And so it really builds up that momentum. And for you as a coach, when you want to sell more of your stuff, more of your programs, anything like that, it has one huge advantage. It filters out everybody who joins the challenge so that they self-qualify.
That's good.
Right from the start, more or less, let's say you do a 5-day challenge. I mean, you can do challenges 5 days, 7 days, 10, whatever. But let's say you do a 5-day challenge. And you start day number 1, you're super excited, you go live, and you will then very quickly realize that you have, 500 people in your challenge, but you have 10 who are super committed, who are commenting everything you do. And if you are doing your challenges mostly right, you don't need to get them perfect, but if you're doing them kind of right, then those people will stick with you to the end, and they will be the first one to throw money at you when you open the card. Of course, you get more people than those, but those are the super engaged, and they will be with you from that day on, because they will click with you who you are. They will see how you present yourself. I mean, most challenges start with the coach telling the origin story. How what kind of struggles has he gone through, or she, to finally overcome that, and now are here to present their solution and help everybody, right? This is how most challenges start. And you have the people who relate to that will stick with you through the end. And they will be the main, those people will be the main drivers that get the ball rolling, and who push the stone that all the other people in the challenge then get motivated, because they see those 5 people, 10 people, 20 people, how many you have, so engaged that they just want to commit and want to be with them.
That's good. That's good. So you made a very interesting point there. 5-day, 10-day. I did a challenge. I won't mention the name here. It was a great one, but it was a 5-day challenge. And on day 4, I realized I've missed 3 days. And I'm going back and looking at replays, and I knew day 5 the offer was going to open up, and the cart was going to open up, and it was a good offer. And so I obviously pulled out my Discover card, and here we are. I hired them. So I know the power of offers, but I've also wondered, what is too long? Is a 30-day challenge too long? And all of my coaches know I use this as an analogy. If anybody has this course, you owe me a lot of money, because I've said it 1,000 times: thinner thighs in 30 days. It's just funny to me. But should a challenge be 5 days, 20 days, 30 days? What really sets? Because I've been a host on challenges where I'm sharing information. What is a good amount of time, or is there a reason why you would do 5 days instead of 21 days?
I think it depends on the goal of the challenge. Is the challenge itself an entry offer so that they pay to get in? Then it's usually longer. So you almost never pay for a 5-day challenge. Those are almost exclusively always free. Not all, but mostly. Especially when you want to run into cold audiences. So you can do paid challenges with 5 days or 7 days, but most of them will be filled with your warm audience who know you already. So when you want to go to cold audiences and you want to have them pay you, then you usually need to go, let's say, a minimum of 14 days, I would say, because then just through the length of the program, people already feel that they get a lot of value. I mean, they get 14 days of coaching. They get 21 days of coaching. What? Sure, here you have my, I don't know, $17 or $47 or anything like that. But you don't pay $47 for 5 days. It's just, people are not used to that. Sure. So you need to get clear on what kind of challenge do you want to run. So when you want to run a free challenge and use it to sell more stuff on the back end, then you usually go with a 3, 5, or maybe even 7-day challenge. And when the challenge itself is already an offer, then you usually start with 7, but probably go 14 or 21 days.
Gotcha. And so how do you get, one question I know asked a lot on anything that we do is, how do you get engagement? It's one thing for somebody to sign up, but oh my gosh, I'm in 5,000 Facebook groups, LinkedIn groups. How do I get somebody to engage so that momentum's there?
This is the funny thing about challenges. Let's say you have a group, and the group is more or less dead. and you have 300, 500,000 people in there, but you haven't been the most active in there as well, and the group is just like that, and you don't really know how to revive it, then you run a challenge, because just by the nature of the challenge, people get engaged. And those who don't get engaged with that challenge, they are probably dead for you anyway, and you can just kick them out. When you have done your challenge right. So when you have really, I mean, a challenge is usually you put out one big promise. So I help you fix whatever. I enabled you to whatever. And when you do this promise right, that it really fits to your target audience, then it's a no-brainer to attend that. Even for the people who are in your group for 3 months and have never done anything.
Yeah. So when you see some of these challenges, how to write a book, how to get on TV, I'm trying to think of ones that I have paid for, how to blank in so many days, basically, your whole promise statement there. Anything that really, I've seen contests for the most engaged. I've seen like daily contests where they give away something. Is that something you recommend, or?
Yeah, doing contests definitely helps. What I see right now, a lot of people are doing is when you have money up front so that you can invest in some swag or gadgets like an iPad or anything like that, then you can do that, or you just do a contest, and the most active or a random person out of everybody who completed all 5 homeworks or anything like that get into a drawing, and then you gift a free entry into your program.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, I worked with one of my coaches that hired me, one of my private clients, and I said I've never done the challenge, but we helped her in hers. So, but what we did in her challenge was exactly that. We gave away swag every day if they would repost, and put hashtag live or hashtag replay. They reposted it, and then we actually gave away her home study course at the end of the challenge. And then from there, we actually had people. We did this challenge every month, which was what she did. So, is that something you recommend, doing it every 90 days, every month, or does that build on top of, through momentum after doing 3 challenges, you have more people, or do you find it diminishes over time?
It completely depends on your strategy. So when you are a full 100% organic guy and you are using manual traffic, I don't like to call it free traffic because you need to put in the work. But when you're using organic traffic, then it would be very hard for you to generate 1,000 new people every month, which is easily doable with paid ads. So I think it depends on your strategy and if you have money to invest. So when you have the money, definitely do it every month, and you can sell out your whole program in just one challenge a month. You don't need to do any sales besides that at all. I mean, you can obviously, but you don't have to do it. You can really sell out your whole program with just one challenge a month. When you know how to run ads to that, and you have a decent budget behind it, when you don't have that, or when you're unsure or don't have enough budget, I don't know, that you get at least, let's say, 300, 400, 500 people into your group or your challenge every month, then I would recommend spreading it out over at least 6 weeks, maybe even 8. I think it really depends on the growth of your group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great advice. And the same thing, coaches that you're listening here, you've heard me say that if you don't have the budget for advertising, then organic, and I like what you said there, manual traffic is not free. It takes time, it takes energy. But to get a group going, get a challenge going, and then reinvest that money. Reinvest. Again, the one that we helped, she had a budget. We set a budget, and she. This is a question, and I don't know, it may vary from person to person, but for her, it was like, if I could just not even break even on my challenge, there was, if you spent 5,000 in ads, if she could, and we were selling a challenge at $100. But she was like, can I get close to breaking even? Because I know in the back end is going to be all profit. What's the most I know obviously the cheapest would be free. What's the most you've seen somebody charge for a challenge, and what would make sense? Because just because somebody does it doesn't mean it makes sense either.
I think it depends on how you classify it. I mean, you can do technically a challenge, but call it a masterclass. It's a 5-day masterclass or a 5-day workshop or a 3-day event or seminar, or however you like to call it. So when you rephrase the name, then you may be able to charge more. But otherwise, I think the highest I would go is $100.
$100.
So it's very hard to get people into something like that when you charge more than $100.
Yeah.
It's definitely doable with 100, but I would even recommend for most people to go a lot lower than that, and go with 17 or anything like that you get when you really want to do it paid. Go with 17 and then add a couple of upsells to recoup your ad costs so that you break even, which you can definitely do. Just if you don't have anything you can do, throw in as an upsell what you can do, and it very often, not all of the time, I'm transparent about that, but very often it gets great feedback, is that you offer a VIP upgrade. So everyone who joins your challenge gets the training on a live stream in the Facebook group, and you can do a VIP upgrade, and those people get onto your Zoom call or wherever you run your challenge, and they are with you. They can ask questions either on set times during the training or after the training. But they stay with you. They have you for a live Q&A right on Zoom for 30 minutes or so, and you can definitely charge another 47 up to 97 for that.
So yeah, and for those coaches that are listening to this, that upsell, that one-time offer, whatever it is to help you break even. So if you're 5,000 in ad cost, maybe you've got 2,000 in sales, but that one-time offer gets you back up to 4,000, 5,000, sometimes even a profit. The beautiful part of any of this, if you can get to a break even, then you can just scale and just continue bringing in. So
one thing. What's super important, and I just want to mention it because a lot of people get that wrong. Whatever you upsell during your funnel, it's very important that it doesn't take away from the challenge. So people try to do all kinds of upsells and throw more stuff in there. And then what happens is it prevents the people from joining your Facebook group. It prevents the people from joining the challenge because they think that they already got everything they needed.
That's
so
good.
Whatever you add as an upsell needs to be, let's say, a nice addition, something that just extends the horizon, but only after you have the thing you promised during the challenge. So let's say, do an example. Let's say one of my examples from the past. Let's say I have run a challenge on how to launch a challenge, how to create a challenge. And so I take people through the whole process, how to launch a challenge. And what I had in there as a potential upsell is templates and pre-made funnels they can easily implement. So they had not, they still needed to do the work, but they could shortcut their work because I provided templates, and it was easier and faster for them.
Yeah, that's good.
Right, something like that. There's something that you can very good throw in there. So do a VIP upgrade and something that shortcuts their way, but not prevents them from joining the challenge.
So you're not saying how to lose 30 pounds in 30 days is the challenge, and then, hey, for another 97, we'll give you this miracle pill that does it for you, because then they
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I have seen people that said, hey, we'll give you all of the recordings in a secret group. You'll be in a private group with the recordings and some Q&A calls. So I've seen exactly what you're saying, which I think is wonderful. For me, the last challenge I got on, I paid the upgrade because I knew I was not going to be there Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern time. Yeah. I knew I was too busy. I needed the replays and I wanted some help. So I bought the upgrades without thinking about it. And so that's a huge, huge benefit. Now, I know you work a lot with, I think we said earlier, primarily coaches. Yeah. What other industries? Because I know we have course creators, public speakers. We have so many different influencers that follow us here. What else would you recommend as far as, or who would you say is outside of coaches that a challenge would work for?
It's super easy to do for everybody who sells expertise. If you're a consultant, if you're an author, anything like that is super fitting. But I mean, there are also software companies who do it. There's a very prominent example, but it's not the only one. So if we don't want to plug the name, so there are other software companies as well. So when you own a software company with a software as a service solution where you get recurring income because people pay you every month to get that software, then you can definitely run a challenge for that as well. I mean, you could potentially run a challenge for everything, but I mean, if you're doing let's say you have a retail store and sell, I don't know, women's clothing, it's a little bit harder. You need to be more creative, but you can still do it. Absolutely.
So I know I'm also very active and have great teams in network marketing, and I see a lot of those do.
Yeah.
Super challenge where you send a picture in, you buy our products, you follow our game plan, and then somebody's going to win $10,000. Yeah, they're going to win a trip or whatever it may be. So I've seen that in the network marketing also, and I work with a lot with real estate agents, and I'm like, how do you take a challenge like this? Maybe it is, sell your home in 21 days or buy the home of your dreams in 21 days and actually bring content, not just bring on a client. But yeah, I think what I love about this, Yashka, and really helpful is it gets people thinking. And something, I want to circle back to something you said in the beginning. You said you could really sell out your program every month just by doing challenges. Can you take just a moment and share either an example or kind of how that would look for somebody that's maybe they're a coach and they have a $5,000 program they sell, an 8-month program for $5K. How would they sell that out using a challenge?
I mean, when you're selling high ticket, you need to have enough people in there because not a lot of people can afford it. It's just like that. But I mean, let's just assume that people know how to run ads so that they have a decent targeting in there, right? Then it really shouldn't be too hard to get 500,000, 5,000 people in there. I mean, when I did my very first challenge, I had a promotion about three weeks, and I had 4,500 people in there on my very first challenge. So it's definitely doable, and so. Yeah, I mean, it's in the end, it's a numbers game, right? So you have your challenge. Then you need to do some calculations. All right, so when I have a challenge, probably from everybody who registered to the challenge, let's say a third actually join your group. When you run a challenge through cold traffic, through ads, right? And not market to your warm audience. So let's say a third actually join your group, which is definitely a reasonable number. And from those people, probably again a third actually follow the whole challenge, right? And from those who follow you, you can have a pretty good conversion rate. So when you do the challenge right, and when you have a strong pitch and a good offer, of course, that fits, then you can close 25% from them.
That's awesome.
Maybe even more. I had a client, some friends who I advised on their challenge, and they closed 70% of their active members.
That's amazing.
It was. I need to be honest about it. It was a low ticket membership though, so not a 5K program, but still they closed 70%, and it's definitely doable.
Yeah, even low ticket. I tell a lot of our clients, if you get somebody on a low ticket, let's say $100 a month, $50 a month, that stays with you for a year. Now it's a $600 to $1,200 program. So,
Exactly.
yeah, and I love that 1/3. It really answers a lot, because I always follow the 80-20 rule. And if I can get 100 people, let's take 500 people on a challenge, and 20%, you've got 100 active, and 20 of those, come on board. Even if half of 20, and you're at high, or even 25% of 20, if you brought on 5 clients at $5K a piece, you had a $25,000 month.
Right.
Good month, So that really makes a lot of sense. Man, I appreciate you're really breaking this down where it's understandable, because what I think a lot of people do, and I'll speak for a lot of my clients also, is we hear this challenge and this challenge and this challenge, and we're like, oh, that's great. But how do you do it? How do you set it up? And really, and I know they can go to createyourchallenge.com. Guys, go grab this information. But I know really it's setting up number one, a Facebook group, and it's having a calendar of events, and it's and I don't know all of the marketing behind it like you do. That's why we're gonna have to check out your site. But Janska, I appreciate you so much for doing jumping on this podcast. I know this is going to bring a lot of value to my people. Let me ask you this, if I may, because I always want to make sure I'm not leaving anything out. Is there anything else you think that your people need, the people listening to this, they need to know?
Yeah. One piece of advice I would love to share, because it really helps to decide what challenge to launch, right? So I just assume that you have your core offer or anything like that, what you actually want to sell, more or less down, right? So this is not for a complete beginner. Then you need to do it a little bit differently. But when you are a more or less well-established coach and you have your offer, then you need to think about your offer solves a problem, right? So this is why people sign up for you.
We teach people how to sell coaching. Their problem is they don't know how to sell coaching.
Exactly. But in what place do they need to be to actually have that problem? So what is the problem they have before that? And this is your challenge.
The problem before the problem.
Exactly. And so this is a very easy and simple framework you can use to find a good topic. So really try to imagine, all right, what pain points do my people have? And what I see, what are the beliefs I need to overcome so that they actually buy my thing? And take one of those beliefs, for example, and structure the challenge around that. And this is something, there are a couple of different frameworks, but this is what usually works pretty well because you, through that, can really deliver a lot of value without taking away of your main offer. It primes the people to get them in the right state and the right position. So they not only need to want to buy a program, they need to be able to, right? Yeah. So fix whatever prevents them from buying your program, and then sell your program, right?
That's good. That's good. Something you just said there, I'm looking at my notes. Told you I was taking notes, guys. What is the problem before the problem? And that's what a lot of times I say. I believe in bringing a major offer. I do. I believe in having a strong offer. But sometimes you got to sell. I picked this up from somebody else I won't mention, but he said you got to sell the thing that sells the thing. You got to sell what sells. And I know in our network marketing business, we have books that we give away. The book sells the appointment sells the membership. I know in a webinar sells an appointment sells whatever. So but basing it around actually solving a problem, that's what I love. The last challenge, guys, I bought, I'm telling you, I paid the upsell. I'm 3 days in, I found out, I missed it, but I've gone in and I've applied the techniques and it's worked. So, and I've also noticed this, and tell me if I'm wrong, Oscar, but I've seen people that got involved with a challenge. They didn't get everything they wanted because their life is hectic. I understand. And then they go, hey, is it available again? And they jump into the same challenge another time. Do you see
exactly. That? Sometimes you have people going through the same challenge 3-4 times before they actually buy your program.
That's awesome.
So this is definitely another reason why you should run the same challenge for a couple of times. I mean, there are several advantages. First, you get a lot better. I mean, your first challenge usually isn't that good, even if you're an experienced coach. But if you have never done a challenge, then you should not show up with the belief that you will crush and kick it out of the gate. Because you have never done that before. It's a new skill you need to learn.
Love that.
Yeah.
Love that.
So really, you need to. What I recommend for a lot of people, especially when they're at the beginning phase of their business, the first challenge is to learn and gather testimonials, not to sell. Yeah. And then you can really, then you have the testimonials, you have the social proof for the challenge. I don't mean for your program, I mean social proof for your challenge, right? And then you can really scale that challenge because you've done it before, you know what went wrong, you know what was good, you got all the feedback, you iterate, and then run ads, then scale it, because the second version will be a lot better and you will make a lot more sales, and you can take that into account and invest a little bit of money into that.
No, I love that. Great advice, guys. Great advice. Do it first and then learn, and it's okay. One of the things we've got with Zoom, social media, Facebook Lives is transparency. We can admit, hey, this isn't perfect, but this is what I'm doing, and we can admit that, and even your coach can say, hey, this is where my challenge has been. I'm the first to admit we haven't done challenges, and we've sold millions and millions in coaching without a challenge. But that doesn't mean I don't need challenges. That means, hey, there's another avenue, another way that some people are going to be attracted to that, and that's something we need to look at. I'm going to say this. Launch your challenge. I want you to jump over and get more information from Yoshka at createyourchallenge.com, and follow through. Do it. Get started. Yoshka, I want to say thank you for being on the call today. I really do. This means a lot. You've given us some valuable insight. A lot of people get on a call just to pitch their company it for you, because you've brought value that I know if somebody will take. And hey, guys, I'm gonna say this: if you have 3 people on your challenge, great. Those 3 people you can really work with now to get the testimonials. So, speaking of testimonials, and Yoshka, first of all, did you have anything else you want to say? I don't want to leave you out by any means, but do you have anything else?
No, I think we've covered a lot. There's still a lot to go, but just hit me up when you have any questions. I will gladly answer them. When you want to learn more, tune into the Launch Your Challenge podcast. When you listen to this, you probably are into podcasts. So, yeah,
that's right.
This is the only pitch you get from me today.
That's good. That's good. I appreciate it so much, guys. Speaking of testimonials, speaking of finding proof, I want you to jump over. We've got a Wealthy Coach 2.0 case study, which actually should be called a challenge now. So let's me and Josh are going to talk about that. But the Wealthy Coach 2.0 case study, if you'll jump over to our website, and you can see it below, howtosellcoaching.com, you're going to see case studies where we have taken people from part-time to lucrative full-time incomes. For lucrative, that means some people 5,000, 10,000 a month. Some people it's mean several million a year that we've been able to help in coaching, consulting. If you're a course creator, then jump over to howtosellcoaching.com. Now, if you jump over to howtosellyourcoaching.com, so if you misspell, you're still going to get me. How to Sell Your Coaching, there's our website with all of our blogs and so forth. But howtosellcoaching.com, look at the case study. The beginning of each month, we do launch a new case study program where we work with you through our modules, through our one-on-one to get you to a full-time income. So if you want to see people we've helped, check it out. If you want to learn more about it, check it out. If you're watching this on YouTube, I should have said this at the beginning, but back to transparency. We don't have to be perfect. We just have to be consistent. If you're on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell. If you're watching or listening to this, Podbean, Libsyn, iTunes, thanks so much. Again, be sure to share and obviously check out the website, howtosellcoaching.com, and createyourchallenge.com. Createyourchallenge.com. Yoshka, honored, man, again, more than you know. And I look forward to speaking with you soon.
All right. It was a pleasure. Thanks.